Okay, the long-awaited vegan protein video. Where can vegans and raw vegans get enough protein? And I'm not going to cover fake meat like Beyond Burger and Impossible Burger. Beyond seems to be a little wiser choice for those who have to choose, but they are both highly refined processed foods, and I'm definitely not going to cover seitan.
Satan?
The U.S. Department of Agriculture says 1 cup of pinto beans is 41 grams of protein, while other internet sites say 15. That's because one is dry and one is cooked. Fresh peas, for example, have only 8 grams of protein per cup. Why? Well, they're full of water. So why is pea protein so popular? Well, because when you take the water out, you concentrate the nutrients. So 1 cup of dry split peas takes that 8 grams up to 48 grams. Now we're talking. Of course, cooking stuff adds water back in, so to keep the same amount of protein, you have to eat at least twice as much. Okay, so soybeans are like 33 grams of protein when cooked, and not the 65 like people like to say and brag about. But don't feel bad, 33 grams of protein per cup is the same as ground beef. And that's the big one that all the bodybuilders like to use. And by the way, soy is not estrogenic like people are brainwashed to believe. It does not cause gynecomastia and man boobs. Flax is 4 times more estrogenic than soy, and even then it doesn't matter. All plant estrogens are 1,000 times weaker than human, animal, or xenoestrogens. All plant estrogens do is fill up estrogen receptors in the body so they cannot accept bad estrogens. And you want that because plant estrogens are too weak to have any effect on the body. They are plant estrogens, not human estrogens. This guy eats lots of soy and definitely does not have gyno. So soy, tofu, and tempeh are fine. But natto is even better because it's fermented living probiotic cultures, and it's packed with protein. Now here's my favorite. Fava beans. Fava beans are a favorite of mine. They're really high in protein and can be eaten raw because they're not really beans. They're in the pea family. These are like peas on steroids. 1 cup of fresh fava. By the way, this is what a cup size is. People think drinking cup of coffee in America, this is a cup, all right? So 1 cup of fresh fava beans have 27 grams of protein. This to me is a typical serving of what I eat. This is one meal for me of fava beans, and I put olive oil and vinegar, onions and garlic, a little bit of hot pepper and some black pepper. This is over 95 grams of protein, and this is one meal of mine. So get this, 1 cup of fresh fava beans has 27 grams of protein, but 1 cup of fava bean powder is 80 grams. That's insane. Now, some people have a genetic issue that cannot handle fava beans, but most people can. Fava beans are super popular throughout the Middle East and have been eaten by the Greeks and the Middle Easterners for thousands of years. I get mine shipped to me from a Middle Eastern market in LA. Nowadays, you can get anything shipped from online stores. I do not eat or like the dried or canned fava beans. Those are horrible. I can't stand those. Anyway, I'm going to cover plant foods in general, both cooked and raw, because most people cook. And let's address the elephant in the room. Most raw foodists are basically fruitarian because they love the sugar and they choose mainly sweet foods, but eating only fruit is not a balanced diet. And of course, it's hard not to notice how skinny they are because there's very little protein in fruit. 1 banana only has 1.3 grams of protein. That would mean a 140-pound person would have to eat 108 bananas per day to meet the recommended daily protein requirements of somebody trying to build muscle. Mangoes, the favorite staple of sugar lovers everywhere. 1 mango only has 2.8 grams of protein. You'd have to have over 50 mangoes a day to get your protein. Oh, but wait, mangoes are high sugar. 1 mango has 200 calories, so if you actually ate those 50 mangoes a day to get your protein, you'd be consuming 10,000 calories a day. 1 cup of blueberries has 1 gram of protein. You'd have to eat 131 cups of blueberries to get your daily protein if you weighed 140 pounds and went to the gym. So unless you want to look like this, you might want to eat more than just fruit. So let's get to the good stuff. Depending on how active you are, you want at least half a gram of protein per pound of body weight a day if you just sit around and do nothing, and 1 pound of protein per gram of body weight if you actually want to build muscle. So let's start adding up some numbers. Okay, I'm going to mix raw vegan and cooked vegan, and you pick what you want from out of that. What I'm about to show you might be shocking to many who think their lentils and beans are high on the list, but you cannot eat dry, hard lentils and raw beans. So the numbers I'm going to give you are based on ready-to-eat food, like cooked beans, because you cannot eat dry, hard beans, and which are the high numbers of protein. And you're also going to see where the numbers fall compared to the standard chicken, beef, fish, and eggs. Okay, here we go. King of the hill in plant protein, drum roll, coming in at a whopping 65 grams of protein per cup is peanut butter. And like I showed in the previous video, all kinds of studies and research has shown that regularly consuming nuts and nut butters does not make you fat or contribute to weight gain. Even though nuts are a rich source of calories and fat, studies show chronic peanut eating does not cause weight gain because it makes you feel full. So you actually eat less the rest of the day and end up sometimes actually losing some weight. Plus, consuming healthy fats helps you lose weight, while eating unhealthy fats found in almost all processed modern foods causes inflammation and makes you get fat. Be aware also, commercial peanut butter often contains added vegetable fats. Now I'm talking about healthy peanuts that have just been simply run through a grinder, no salt, no sugar added. That's all I'm talking about here. The fat in regular peanut butter is mostly the heart-healthy monounsaturated kind with very little saturated fat. Oleic acid is the main type of fat found in peanuts, and that can help lower blood pressure, decrease inflammation, and reduce the risk of heart disease. And by the way, many people have peanut allergies because their liver is dirty from an unhealthy diet and lifestyle. Some people actually have genetic allergies, but most people simply have a liver that cannot handle the fat, so change your diet, clean your liver, stop the bread, the dairy, and the sugar so you can increase your stomach acid and bile. Gallstones are a big warning sign of low hydrochloric acid and bile. Okay, so 1 cup of peanut butter has 65 grams. This is 1 cup, has 65 grams of protein. That's practically half of your daily protein requirement. Whole peanuts have 38 grams of protein per cup. But what if you don't want all those calories? Well, now they have peanut protein powder, which has almost all of the fats and oils removed. 1 cup of peanut protein has 50 grams of protein, which is between peanuts and peanut butter, and it has 85% fewer calories than whole peanuts or peanut butter. And it's a good source of fiber and protein, which studies show can help regulate appetite. Since the powder contains very little fat, it mixes more easily with liquids than traditional nut butter, and it can be used as a dry seasoning. It can be sprinkled onto oatmeal or blended into smoothies or stirred into batters. And unlike regular peanut butter, it's not a choking hazard like for kids and elderly, which gag on peanut butter and get stuck in their throat. But keep in mind, many of the nutrients have been also removed, so I prefer good old normal peanuts and peanut butter. Okay, I know a bunch of people are saying they don't like peanuts or peanuts have aflatoxins. No, all peanuts do not have aflatoxins like Valencia or wild jungle peanuts, but okay, let's move on. Let's enter the pearly gates of plant-based protein. Here's what you've all been waiting for, the magic list from highest to lowest in protein levels. The red ones are the traditional animal proteins, so you can see where they are comparatively. Remember, this is listed by ready to eat, not how much protein is in a dry cup of beans. Everything is 1 cup. All right, here we go. On the top of the list, fava bean powder, 80 grams per cup. Whey protein falls under that, depending on the brand, between 50 and 75. Now remember, when you buy whey protein, it's not just pure whey protein. It's got vanilla flavoring, it's got sweetener. A lot of the whey protein out there, it's not just pure whey protein powder. Even one that's the most concentrated is still a little bit less than fava bean powder. Pretty interesting, huh? But you didn't see that one coming. All right, peanut butter, 65 grams. Here's another one you probably didn't see coming. Chlorella, 61 grams. That is pretty amazing. 1 cup of chlorella is 61 grams, and I've got a lot of chlorella in my protein powder. All right, next up, peanut powder, 50 grams. Again, peanut powder falls between whole peanuts and peanut butter. That's got the fat removed. Now we get into the ones that most people eat. Chicken, one of the biggest bodybuilding foods out there. Chicken comes in at 38 grams Now we have peanuts at 38 grams and pumpkin seeds dry 34. Soybeans at 33. People like to say 68 for a cup, but that's dry soybeans. I'm talking about ones that are cooked or steamed or whatever. So the ones that you can eat are around 33. Here comes ground beef, the big one for bodybuilders, 32 grams. So as you can see, there are plant foods that actually have more protein packed in than the traditional chicken and beef. All right, then we move on to nutritional yeast. Nutritional yeast is 32 grams, same amount as ground beef. And I put a lot of nutritional yeast on my kale salad. I love that stuff. All right, natto. Here we go. Natto is 31 grams. So for a 140-pound person, if you eat 4.5 little cups of natto per day and nothing else, that's all you ate, you would have your daily amount requirement of protein enough to build muscle. If you just want to maintain and just sit around on the couch and do nothing, 2 cups is all you need. Chia, 31 grams. Tempeh, 31 grams. Fava beans, 27 grams per cup. Remember, a cup is just one of these things. It's not that much. Underneath of that is the average of fish at 25. Coconut flour is 24, whereas a whole coconut is 13. Now, of course, that's got a lot of liquid in it. And oat groats, cooked 24 grams per cup. Pine nuts, 22 grams per cup. Really, really high in healthy fats and oils. Then coming in at 21 grams per cup, cashews, which is the same as my nutritional yeast cheese. I make this really great dipping cheese, and 1 cup of that, which is pretty much a standard serving for me, is 21 grams of protein. And of course, the crackers that I used to dip it with are chia. And chia, as we have discussed earlier, are 31 grams per cup. So I'm getting probably 50 to 60 grams of protein just from dipping my homemade chia crackers into my homemade cheese, raw vegan cheese. All right, then tofu at 20 grams. Almonds, 20 grams. Hummus, 19 grams. Lentils, 18 grams. And dry, 53. So don't be fooled by the higher number. When you cook them, 18 grams per cup. So they're nowhere near the higher numbers, but they're still pretty good. They're still higher than an egg. Now, I say chopped egg, not whole egg, because a whole egg is only 6 grams, but if you chop it up and ram it into a cup like this, you get more protein. So if you just mush an egg into one of these cups, you get 17 grams, which is less than a cup of lentils. Large white beans come in at 17, the same as a cup of mushed egg. And then pinto beans, the famous pinto beans, they come in at 15. They have 4 times more protein when they're dry, but you don't eat them dry. Chickpeas, 14.5. Again, dry, 39, but you're eating them cooked usually, so that's 14.5 grams per cup. Walnuts come in at 12. Hemp seeds, dry, 54, or fresh, 10. 1 cup of quinoa is 8 grams of protein when it's cooked, and dry, 24. Peas come in at 8. Those are fresh green peas because they got a lot of water in them. Buckwheat comes in at 6. Dry, it's 23. Buckwheat is, in fact, not a type of wheat at all. It's a cousin of rhubarb. That's what they make soba noodles out of, or porridge. You can make pancakes out of it. Kara makes all kinds of buckwheat crackers. She puts buckwheat crackers on everything. And it's a good source of silica and stuff like that. Now we get down to the egg. Only 6 grams of protein per egg. Now, they say egg is the perfect protein. It's got everything perfect. But 1 egg, if you just pop it in your mouth, is only 6 grams. So you'd have to eat like 3, 4, 5, or 6 of them. Avocado coming in at 4.5. 1 cup of kale, 2.2. And 1 cup of almond milk, 1 gram. This is 1 meal for me of fava beans, about 3.5 cups at 27 grams per cup. This is 95 grams of protein, and that's before I put the olive oil, the vinegar, the onions, the garlic, the hot pepper, and the black pepper on here, which would take it up to about 100 grams. So 1 meal of fava beans for me is around 100 grams of protein. Also, my protein powder is full of protein-rich chlorella, pine nuts, pumpkin seeds, almond, hemp, durian, nettle, cactus, and a dozen other amazing plants. You got to look at the ingredients. You would be amazed. No other protein powder in the world has expensive ingredients like that. So 1 cup of the unsweetened version has 49 grams of protein. That's more than 1 cup of chicken or beef. You can get it at marcusprotein.com. Remember, the unsweetened has a little more protein than the sweetened. Anyway, 1 cup of my cheese dip, again, 21 grams. And if you ate nothing but 6 to 7 bowls of split pea soup in one day and nothing else, you would have your protein for the day. That's 2 cups per bowl and very thick split pea soup. Not watery, but thick. So yeah, you could eat 6 to 7 bowls of split pea soup and have your protein. Did you know 1 watermelon has almost 30 grams of protein? That's as much protein as 4 to 5 eggs or 4 ounces of chicken breast, but it has 1,300 calories. That's half a day's calories. A lot of sugar in there. So anyway, just give you some ideas of, and of course, just choose your favorite stuff from this list and add up the numbers. It's that easy. Everyone has different philosophy of how much protein to eat, so find what works for you. Here's the numbers. Add them up. And for those of you who still think vegans can't get enough protein, let me introduce you to these people. And before you start throwing around the word steroids, you need to understand muscle is not made of steroids. Let's compare muscles to building a house. House is made of bricks, okay? That's physically what the house is made of. Your muscles are the bricks. Well, steroids are not bricks. Steroids are the brick layers, okay? Those are the ones that put the bricks into place. You can give the bricklayer speed or meth, and he'll work faster and work harder and lay the house, probably not as good, but he'll make the house grow faster. And that's what steroids do. So anybody who says, oh, that guy's got big muscles, he's on steroids. Well, that muscle that you're looking at is not made from steroids. It's made of protein, which is amino acids. So you still have to eat the protein. So if you see a vegan bodybuilder who's got big muscles, how big he physically is determined by the amount of protein that physically gets turned into muscle. So the fact that a vegan can have muscles like that means that he is able to assimilate protein from vegan sources and make big muscles. So steroids is not, that's a cop-out excuse. You still got to get your protein from something. And if they're vegan, then obviously you can get your protein from plant sources. So there you go. I hope I clarified some things and busted some myths for you. You can definitely get enough protein on a vegan or raw vegan diet. You maybe have to eat a little bit more in volume, but then again, you're getting a lot of fiber, you're getting more nutrients. There is no fiber in animal products. There's only fiber in plant products, and you need the fiber to push everything through, and the fiber is the main food source for your probiotics. Anyway, there you go. You can definitely do it. You can definitely build muscle. You can definitely not get sarcopenia and waste away and have shriveled up muscles if you eat a well-balanced variety of plant-based foods. Don't just eat fruit, okay? You need a variety. Nature is full of stuff. Like it's not just one thing. It's full of things. So the more variety you eat, plus each plant has different amounts of different nutrients. So the more variety you eat, the better you are anyway. So you're not lacking in something. So I hope I inspired you. I hope I finally busted some myths. I hope I finally opened your eyes and gave you some inspiration. There you go. Yes, you can get way than enough protein on a plant diet. I'll see you in the next video. Have a great week.